We are in a state of complete uncertainty in the outside world. There are more unknowns than knowns. What is your view about all the uncertain situations which are coming up?
The world has never been so much on the edge.
Right.
If I talk of, a geopolitical scenario, this Ukraine-Russia war, you take civil unrest in Iran, Bangladesh, Venezuela, many countries. So this sort of a situation has not been there for a long time. If you see macroeconomic situation, the currency rates, they are fluctuating so much. 26, the upcoming year, is going to be the inflection point where AI is going to impact the way we do business in a big way.
Quite often, many times happens that many instances change our life path. Do you have any kind of life-changing instances that would have shaped you?
Yeah, like it was in 2011. So I was going back from office to the airport to come back to Delhi. So and I was in a cab. The cab was at the traffic signal. It was when a truck hit the cab from behind.
Uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. That's what describes a CFO seat today. From the back office number crunching to the front seat to the cockpit is what the evolution has been fascinating for the CFO seat, who is navigating through the turbulence with master strategies. Well, dealing with disruption has become the new normal of the day. And for a CFO, managing the disruption has become the cornerstone for success. Today we are discussing this topic where CFOs manage this disruption. And I'm very happy to present today somebody who is really been into this grind for a long tenure of his life. Let me welcome Mr. Jitendra Grover, who is a chartered accountant by profession and is the CFO of Capgemini Engineering in India, and has to his merit prior to Capgemini, which he has already worked for 13 plus years. Even prior to that, he has worked in very, very esteemed companies like Nokia, Ericsson, KPMG, and Siemens. So welcome, Jitendra.
Yeah,
welcome
you,
to this podcast, and we are looking forward to very insightful discussions with your kind of experience, and happy to have you here.
Yes, my pleasure. Thank you for having me here.
Before we start on this particular topic of this discussion today, I'm very curious to know about your journey. Can you reflect a little bit upon how has Jitendra Grover come to this stage as of today, starting from your growing up days in your personal life, from your childhood to your education to what you are a professionally very distinguished and established, seasoned CFO as of today? I think we all and the viewers will be very keen to know about it.
Yeah, so I come from a very humble background, so from a middle class family. So from my early years, we have seen my father working very hard, and in our home, the importance of studies was emphasized like anything. So I knew from beginning that doing well in study is essential to do well in life. So as a student, I was quite sincere, hardworking. I would say I was a good student. I did well in all grades. And as I grew up further, then a choice came between commerce and science, like every student faces, right? So for me, the choice was easier because I never liked physics or chemistry, so science was not my cup of tea. But I was good at maths, so commerce was a natural choice. And then later CA also became a natural choice. So that way, finance was the right choice, I think, for me. So those were my growing up years. Then my corporate life started, and all this journey began. So
I do understand you're naturally coming into commerce,
Mhm.
not liking into science, but coming into finance and growing up in a CFO seat as a high stakes seat. Was that anything by choice, and that too, the career choices that you made very amusingly were all technological backing companies, right? So, was there any particular deliberate choice of getting into the mainstream of a
Yeah,
CFO role or
yeah,
getting into finance? Because commerce could have taken you anywhere, could have taken you into banking or taken a
yeah.
corporate or manufacturing or whatever.
Yeah. So that's right. And actually, my journey started with taxation. So my initial part or big portion of my career I spent into taxation. The KPMG that you mentioned was a taxation role. And then even with the company later, I worked in taxation roles. So I had joined Arisent back in 2012 as a group head of tax. Edison was a mid-sized company, and that was my first role. That was at a group head of tax level. They had presence in 23 countries across the globe, so it was quite exciting opportunity as well. In 2015, so that change point came. The India CFO had left, and there was a position open, and I had been doing taxation now for more than 15 or 18 years already. So I wanted to experiment, also look into how the, even though I was working very closely with finance team, so I wanted to experiment and see. I expressed my desire, and they were kind enough to give me that opportunity and I then made India CFO for a recent. So so I didn't grow up in finance like usually everybody does, but it was a change from group head of tax to India CFO. But it was a big decision for me because I was making a big change in my career. I could have failed also, but fortunately, by God's grace, it has worked out pretty well. So, yeah.
Excellent. Very, very nice to hear that how you have evolved over time from taxation and then going into the prime CFO route. Uh, Quite often, many times happens that many instances change our life path. Do you have any kind of life changing instances that would have shaped you?
Yeah, yeah. So basically, like I mentioned, as a student, I was very sincere, hardworking. I carried that same trait forward into my corporate life as well. In corporate world, also, I was very competitive. I was always working for next level, for appreciation of superiors, and uh, growth was my mantra for many years. But then, until this event happened, so I was on a business travel to Chennai, and I was coming back. It was in 2011, so I was going back from office to the airport to come back to Delhi. So, and I was in a cab. The cab was at the traffic signal. It was when a truck hit a cab from behind, and it hit it so hard. The impact was so hard that there was a tempo in front of the cab, and the cab just got squeezed or sandwiched between the truck and the tempo. And somehow, for some reason, the truck was not stopping. Also, it was just even though with the impact, it had stopped. But the driver, I think, I don't know what was the problem. He was not able to apply brakes. It was still continuing to squeeze further. That was terrible experience, no? Terrible experience. And the car was totally sort of scrapped. I was not able to open the door. Then some of the good Samaritans on the roadside, they broke open the door. They pulled me out of the car, and then I was wondering how I came out without any scratch. So later I learned the driver of the car, he lost his legs. the dashboard fell on his thighs and he lost his legs. So that event sort of impacted me a lot. I wondered that if that truck just continued for 2 more seconds, 1 or 2 seconds, I would not be sitting in front of you. And that I started questioning the purpose of all this. So what is the purpose of life? What I'm doing? Why I'm doing? So that changed my perspective slowly.
Wow.
It was not an overnight decision or anything, but
Yeah.
slowly and surely it has changed my perspective towards
Yeah.
life itself. The way the qualities I like in people, or the attribute I appreciate in a leader is much different than what it was before.
I see.
So for me now, compassion probably is the biggest trait in any human being. So, and I look for that same quality in any leader. So
I see.
for me, a good leader is the one who has compassion and who is kind towards his team, his colleagues, towards the society. So
Such a nice thought. I mean, yes, sometimes, these kind of instances, they become life-changing instances. And that's what I gather from what you just said. It is really, really shocking. And I can imagine what you went through at that particular moment. And if that moment can change your life and bring some leadership attributes, could be a blessing in disguise, but not a very comfortable way of having it. But yes, it does happen. The similar, not exactly this kind, but in of a different kind. I also have gone through that in my life, which has shaped my career as well. So glad to know that now that you are a proficient leader, and these are the traits of a leader that you really like upon. Is this the only incident, or is there any other leaders similar attributes that would have influenced you? I had many such role models which I always wanted to aspire to become.
Yeah, so like I said, whenever I meet leaders within the company or outside, or even from some of the historical leaders, so I was just doing some thinking myself, and it was how should I say? I was surprised myself. The leaders I was speaking, or the trait I was speaking, was always compassion. So always people who had this quality, I sort of like them, personally like them. Even though they may be from normal, I mean, they may be common people or from our normal life. May not be some big leader, so to say, but this is the quality I like in them, and to my mind, I think they are worthy of sort of appreciation, or they deserve better in life. So, to sum it up, yeah.
No,
I hope
I
answered
completely
you.
agree with you, Jitendra, because a leader with the compassion, according to me, and whatever I can reflect upon in my life, the leaders that I have seen, both in corporate as well as in outside, even with some of the politicians, let me not take names. But yes, a leader with compassion is there to remain casting a strong impact in the minds of people whom they are working with, and for whom they are actually creating that impact. So really, that
and
definitely
sometimes,
makes.
Saibal, we give them different words. We will
Yes.
say he's a simple person.
Yeah.
He is very down to earth.
Absolutely.
He took his stuff himself, or served to others. So this is all part of compassion only. Without kindness in your heart, you can't do such things.
And the immediate name which comes to my mind, Ratan Tata. I mean,
Yeah.
the epitome
Absolutely.
of compassion.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
excellent. Great, Jitendra. That's very nice to hear about your backstory, which has brought you the way we see today's successful CFO in you. You know, we are in a state of complete uncertainty in the outside world. There are more unknowns than knowns. What is your view about all the uncertain situations which are coming up? And I'm sure day in and day out you are taking decisions with your mastery with these kind of uncertainties. So can you probably recommend any strategy that CFOs or you as a CFO has adopted to navigate through those uncertainties, and how can the strategic decision making can be done amidst the uncertainty?
So what has always been uncertain, let me put it that way. But of late, I would say, in the present scenario or maybe in past 1 year, the uncertainties have gone to a different level. I would say the world has never been so much on the edge.
Right.
If I talk of, say, a geopolitical scenario, this Ukraine-Russia war, you take civil unrest in Iran, Bangladesh, Venezuela, many countries. So this sort of a situation has not been there for a long time. If you see macroeconomic situation, the currency rates, they are fluctuating so much. Rupee dollar, rupee euro have gone to a different level altogether. Then interest rates, inflation are also very unpredictable these days. Then if I go to technology segment, AI is disrupting the world in technology like anything, right? We have seen some bit of it in 25, but I hear from many experts that 26, the upcoming year, is going to be the inflection point where AI is going to impact the way we do business in a big way. So then if I talk about talent, there is scarcity of the skill sets that you require. The skill set requirements are changing. Retaining talent has become very difficult or a challenge by itself. It's another uncertainty we are facing. And then regulatory environment. So regulatory environment is also catching up with all the changes that are going on.
Yeah, and all these things are coming up at such a rapid pace.
Correct, yeah.
That is mind blowing. If I can reflect upon the way I had experienced it, these sudden rapid changes started ever since COVID. So you somehow faced your wave one, then immediately by the time you recover, you have wave two, again you have wave three, followed by Ukraine war, followed by, everything one after the other. The regulatory changes, reforms taking place one after the other. Yeah. Some gets published, some do not get published. In a CFO's life, you suddenly start getting notices from departments. The story is endless.
Yeah.
So how do you, in this kind of a super volatility situation where things are not known what will happen tomorrow morning, anything can fall loose on the business and on your desk, how do you end up taking strategic decisions which are more futuristic, where you have a strong role to play? Is there any kind of principle that you follow? Is there anything that you think that as a CFO you have followed to overcome this?
Okay, so two things I would say. Firstly, what should we do? What CFO should do, in my perspective, in this uncertain time. The second part is on the decision making.
Mm-hmm.
So the first part on the uncertainties bit, I would say there is no shortcut. Just as CFO, it is your duty, or it is our duty, to take a step back and strategize first. So what are strategy also means what are you going to prioritize? Because at the end of the day, you are the custodian of companies' funds in a way, right? So how do you best utilize it? How do you ensure financial resilience in these times of uncertainty?
Yes.
So that is the foremost sort of duty of a CFO. So step back and analyze what things to focus on and prioritize in the coming year, where to put money, where to hold back. Okay. Then the second part is partnering with business. So more than ever now there is a need to be the partner with business. Understand what are they doing with AI technology, what solutions we are developing.
Yes.
And also understand the contractual side of it, contracts with customer, wherever we are delivering through AI. So what does the contract say? What does the what kind of a contractual liability we should be aware of? So that is the second part. Third also comes is the internal control aspect of it. So we have a way of delivering to our customers as of now, but when you start delivering with the use of AI, what sort of internal controls you are building to ensure
True.
that the delivery is of the same or better quality?
Yeah.
So saving money is not the only criteria, but also ensuring that there are sufficient internal controls. If you are implementing AI in finance function, then it's even more important to understand the control aspect of it, because then you would be publishing numbers just with the use of AI, right?
Absolutely.
So understanding what internal controls are there to check the reports before those are published is very important, at least in the initial period till you are able to fully rely on them.
Absolutely.
So these three things, and then regulatory environment. I mean, CFOs need to be constantly on the watch out for the changes in regulations. Cyber laws are going to change rapidly.
True.
And because there is a lot of catching up to do in data privacy laws, in other cyber laws. And there is also some catching up to do in ESG. That's another hot area, even though it's not related to AI. So regulations are going to sort of develop even there.
Yeah.
So as a CFO, you have to sort of be alert to all this to tackle uncertainty. It's not an easy task, but there is no option either.
So Jitendra, when the table is shifting so rapidly, do you generally follow a practice of going back to the strategic drawing board again and again and revisiting that and tweaking that strategy, or do you scrap that strategy that no, this kind of a change has happened, the strategy will not work? What is I'm just asking your view. What do you practice in your domain? I mean, how does, so for example, what I'm basically trying to say, you have thought about a strategy, a business strategy, which is worked out, and so true, partnering is the name of the game to work it out, and that's what CFOs have to do today. So in that, you work out a strategy today, suddenly 3 months later, the way things change, whether it is technology or regulatory or geopolitics or economies or whatever it is, suddenly you go and find that certain parameters taken in the strategy may not be working, or may have become redundant, or may have an impact as a result of these shifts. What has been your way of dealing them?
It really depends on the magnitude of the change that is coming.
True.
So if it is throwing up your whole strategy, then you have no option but to sort of go back to the drawing board,
revisit
and revisit it. That's not optional, but generally in most cases, or I would say more than 90% of the cases, you're able to tweak the strategy and fine tune it based on the events. And of course, there is a definite need to keep adjusting your budget plans, right? So otherwise, our budget could be the final thing, and CFOs may not be required. So thankfully, there are uncertainties. Thankfully, we have to keep adjusting, and thankfully, we get the opportunity to keep adding value to business.
Right. Possibilities from uncertainties. That's also another side of it.
Yes.
So I'm really tempted to know from you, Jitendra. Can you recall? Don't have to go into gory details, but can you recall of any particular decision that you would have taken basis very, very poor visibility of information, lack of complete information, or unknown factors, but still in the interest of the business or the operations, you would have had to take a decision? Is anything that you can share, you would like to recall?
Yeah, there are, but for confidentiality reason, I may not.
Don't
be
have
able
to specify.
Yeah, but I'll lay out the context
yes.
and stuff. So, for decision making, personally, I feel. I mean, I may be wrong on this, so don't catch me there. But so, I think they to some extent is a balance between mind and heart. when you make a decision. Mind means all analysis, all the data you can get about the decision you're making. Mostly it's investment decision or so that part. And the hard part is your gut feel. I mean, what do you feel about it, based on which is a combination of all your experience, your faith, your sort of what you're judging in the person who is presenting the case, what team is going to work on it, what is the strength of their plan, their background. There's a combination of things which we call together as a gut feel, how you feel about it, and versus what data you are seeing.
Right.
So sometimes there is a choice. You go with the gut feel, or how you draw the balance is actually is a recipe for a good decision. So some people have really good, strong gut feeling, and their instinct is very good. So that's why they are a good decision maker. Their decisions hold good. But some others rely more on data, and they less rely on gut. But it's at the end of the day, you have to draw a balance. I mean, there is no right or wrong decision, because the decisions are made in uncertain situation. So
I can't agree any more. I can right now think of so many visionaries who have purely created this vision just out of gut feel, or if in the absence of a better word, we can call it intuition. And that, to me, it squarely comes from the rich experience that you gather over a period of time, where the sixth sense automatically develops in you that this will work.
Yeah.
And 7 out of 10 times it happens to work. Maybe 3 times it'll fail. There's no harm. I mean, it's not necessary that every strategies will succeed, but you exactly know what is the exit route to be taken. And that's what many professionals also say. As long as you have an exit route to your strategy, then it can be a mitigation point for these kind of unknown factors suddenly coming and hitting you.
Yeah.
I mean, I completely agree with you. What has, in your decision making, what has tested you the most? Is it the scale of the decisions? Is it your responsibility to deliver? Or is it the sheer pace of the changes, technology or regulatory or economics or geopolitics or whatever, because you're working in an international organization? Which of these factors, or any other factor, which you think you have been really, really tested and challenged into your decision-making capabilities?
My experience will fall in any other category, and that is the M&A. I've gone through many M&As in past 10 years, especially. So, firstly, the company I was working with, I was CFO for Orient, like I said, India CFO. Orient made an acquisition. It was a mid-size company. From Edison's point of view, the acquisition was of a mid-size. We made the acquisition. Then 2 years later, in March 2018, Edison was acquired by Altran. Then in March 20, Altran was acquired by Capgemini.
Oh.
Okay, so 3 acquisitions in space of 5 years. So after every acquisition, 3 types of integrations happen. So there's integration on systems, people, and policy.
Exactly.
Right. And those are quite strenuous for...
Absolutely.
It is for both the acquirer and acquiring company, but more for acquiring company, I would say. And you have to do all the integration activities, learn new things, new ways of working, new teams. At the same time, you have to sort of also do your routine tasks, right? So integration activities plus routine tasks, it adds to pressure like anything. And I got grilled by this for 3-4 years together. I mean, especially from 2018 to almost end of 21 were kind of these integration years only. So sheer pace of it, you maybe can call, sort of many things were changing around me. Almost everything actually was changing around me. And at this time, holding the team together, keeping the trust of the team, was a big challenge for me, and then deliver well on the financials also. It was actually, they would call it a bare minimum expectation from a CFO, that you deliver well on the financials. At the same time, you do integration super smoothly. So
Wow.
all this sort of added to a lot of pressure.
If I can place myself into your shoes, 3 acquisitions in 5 years is a big change. It really rattles you up, because as the same thing I was telling about COVID, you try to recover from one, the second one hits you immediately, blows you down. It's almost you are sitting in a boxing ring like a thing.
Yeah.
Don't you get fatigued by decision making, that you just about manage something with a lot of difficulty, another one comes and hits you? It almost like resonates like a Bollywood film, the hero getting knocked down repeatedly. How do you overcome this decision tiredness or fatigue, if I can call it?
Yeah.
Or does it at all sink in you, or you feel you're resilient to that as well?
No. So this pressure or the fatigue that you mentioned, it sort of mounted at a time. I remember it was just too much to manage, and to add to more complexity. So we were sort of in integration, because Capgemini is such a big organization. We were managing integration with 2 teams, one in India, the other was US, because in Altron the finance team was central in India. So it became quite much. I mean, you have only so many hours. If you do night calls with US and day calls with India, and then you do your routine work also, and of course the team is same, right? So it was very tough. I may not call it fatigue, but it was quite tiring. I mean, the amount of work itself was just too much.
How did you manage that?
So,
How did you?
Yeah,
What did you tell yourself?
I'm coming to that. So slowly, my way out from all this situation was 3-4 things I learned as an experiment only. So one is, you got to trust and delegate. So you delegate to your team, trust more than usual, because then you let them front end sometime, or in situations where you were front ending earlier. So delegate and trust, that is one. Second is withdraw. So you have to draw a balance between withdrawal and engagement. So how much you would be engaged and when do you withdraw? It's a balance, fine balance. If you do too much of withdrawal, then you will suddenly see that you're not involved enough. If you're too much engaged and don't withdraw at all, then you may burn out, right? So you have to draw a balance, and you should be able to withdraw. Everybody has their own things which help them withdraw. For somebody it could be family, for some other it could be some support activity, for some other it could be any hobby of his. So but you have to withdraw. This balance is the second thing I learned, very important. Third thing is have faith in higher power. So sometimes you have to understand that you are not running everything. You are not some big guy without who company will fail, right? So you have to sometimes leave things to that higher power and take a step back. This is another way of withdrawing, you can say that, but that faith also helps. That faith, somehow that power will set everything right. If your intentions are right, you are doing everything right in your as per your own belief, then you have to go with that faith. So these 3 things help me stay grounded, come back to normal, and then of course spend time with family as much as you can. So those things are very important, I would say.
That's an excellent recipe for managing. I think our viewers will be really learning this from you, as I am also gaining more knowledge from your experience. I think this is the perfect way to manage, because there's no answer for managing these kind of a decision fatigue when you have in the uncertain times. And that too, I could really relate, because I have also in my life gone through so much of transition phases within the company, beyond any control or beyond my control, circumstances changing so rapidly. It really, really becomes very difficult. So I'm trying to, in my mind, I'm trying to check out the boxes which all have I done. Okay. And I can't agree anymore. Maybe one or two of them I am telling myself I could have done this better. But no, amazing. I think this is a real good way of managing these kind of uncertainty, decision and decision fatigue. Most importantly, today is a world which I'm seeing that every day is becoming very uncertain. Every day you have to find out a new path to reach your destination, and you have to reach your destination.
Yeah. And one other thing is that you should sometimes learn to say no. I mean,
so important.
Yeah, you should know your limitations.
So important.
Right? No could be to buy sufficient time. No could be to the timeline the other person is setting for you.
So important.
Or no could be that it's not my work. I mean, if you know your limitations clearly, don't go beyond that. I mean, sometimes you need to say no. Otherwise, you will make your life difficult and your team's life difficult as well.
Absolutely. So, Jitendra, you have worked through and through in all multinational organizations, and that to technology-backed space. Does the global equation, the global interconnectivity in between geographies and with parent companies, and coupled with whatever is happening, that dimension brought into your Indian context, because you had been the Indian CFO for some time, is there any more? Because the global perspective or the multinational perspective is much more layered. You have regional headquarters to manage, you have headquarters to manage, you have policies, you have a specific line of direction to be taken. Is there any further sense of uncertainty or complexity that builds up having worked in a multinational kind of a setup with multi-geography presence where you may have interdependence? I'm just out of curiosity because you come from a very seasoned multinational background.
No, true. I mean, these multinationals are large, and large multinationals have their complexity of their own because of the setup and by sheer number of people and sort of functions in those companies. So one thing I've learned, the strategy normally that works, or it has worked for me, I think two things are important to be successful in this setup, in the large company setup. One thing is entrepreneurial mindset. So if you should, or
yes.
I think if it was my own business, how would I run? What would I do? So of course with ethics and stuff, with moral sort of thing. So that mindset is very important, getting things done, because there are many functions. Apparently some of them may be working in silos, some may not, but it is very important that you involve with them and get things done. So this is entrepreneurial mindset that is very important in a big setup. Second is collaboration. So you don't afford to sort of sit in your sort of own world with your own team and just do your thing. You could survive. For a long period of time, you can survive like that also. But if you want to be successful, you need to collaborate. So collaboration and entrepreneurial mindset. If I add maybe third one with ethics, if you do, I think you should be successful in a large setup with large multinationals.
Great, excellent. So, Jitendra, I don't want to extend further. I think a lot of rich thought of yours have come out, and that is excellent for me as well as our viewers. I'm sure a lot of the next generation will learn a lot of things from you. Just before we conclude, I want to ask 4 rapid fire questions to you, right? If you can quickly answer them in short. So here they go. In uncertain times, a CFO's most important responsibility is?
I would think financial resilience and protecting financial resilience.
Okay, great. The most misunderstood part of the CFO role is?
I would say that they are glorified number crunchers. CFOs by no means are. So.
Can't agree anymore. Pressure teaches you?
To prioritize.
Okay.
So,
great. If I weren't in finance, I'd probably be?
I'd be a teacher, most likely, yeah. So if I would not be...
I think in the last minutes, I have already learned so much from you. I can't imagine that you are a teacher in your own right already. So you have already earned that space. And the way I see in this conversation, uncertainty is here to remain, or rather it would aggravate. Things will become much more complex. So just for my understanding, it is whether you talk about geopolitics or technology, AI, everything is here to remain. It is through partnering, building controls, having a sharp sight over the strategy, being entrepreneurial is what helps you to stay grounded. And most importantly, resilience. I really am marveled by the 3-piece decision fatigue management techniques that you mentioned about building trust and delegation, more of it, balancing between withdrawal and engagement. It's absolutely perfect. Faith in divine power, end of the day, that's what takes you through. And also very important, which many times we miss out, is the power to say no. No rightfully, no in the right place, so that things do not go over your head. You yourself have faced so much of tough situations in terms of repeated uncertainties hitting you, complexities hitting you, which you have come out successfully just by deployment of these kind of techniques, which is brilliant. And I think, yes, working in large corporations, which are super complex, multi-geographies, of course, it pays to be entrepreneurial, it pays to remain much more grounded, and it pays to be much sharper in terms of those decision making and navigating through these uncertainties. This is broadly which I really learned from you. Thanks for being my teacher, and I'm sure our viewers would have really enjoyed this conversation. And thank you very much, Jitendra.
Thank you for having me
Thank you for
here.
participating. Thank you very much.
Saibal.